Visit www.grapevineweb.co.uk.
Okay. Welcome once again to the Naked Football Show. On the show tonight, we present the Colossus, who was one of our very first guests, weren't you, Colossus?
I was indeed. Good evening. It's good to be back, Graham.
And good to have you, of course, Colossus. You are the Colossus, of course. Of course, we have Jeremy behind the mic as well with me.
Good afternoon, good evening.
Good evening, and we have a special guest in the shape of, I think we could call him the Swiss Army knife of Ipswich Town, Mr. Mickey Stockwell.
Good evening.
Every position ever known to man, this man played. Good evening. We'll be hearing from Mickey later, so we'll, if there is any town news, maybe you could tell me, because I haven't been about for the last couple of days.
It hasn't been a great deal. Obviously, it's been a quiet couple of weeks, well, since the last, quiet sort of 10 days or so since the last game, obviously with international week. There's been kind of a little bit sparse. Some of the players have been away. Been a few rumours. The main one that's intensifying is Danny Collins from Stoke. It's looking more and more likely that he's going to come in on loan, and obviously clubs in the Championship can start bringing in players on loan from tomorrow morning. So let's hope we get a couple of defenders in. But yeah, it's looking more and more like it's going to be him, because Stoke didn't include him in their 25-man squad for the Premier League, and I think Pulis has actually said he wants him to get some games between now and Christmas. So it looks like he's going to go somewhere, but it's going to be a race with Nottingham Forest by the look of it to get him in. But he's quite an experienced defender, so that would be a good addition. There hasn't been too much else, has there, really, on the rumour mill?
It's been a quiet one. I guess it will kick off again when the loan, the emergency loan window opens. It's very strange to call it an emergency loan. Is it an emergency? Well, I suppose in Town's case it probably is something of an emergency at the moment. But
it's a bit crazy, all this transfer window stuff, isn't it? I mean, and also you then go for months on end with no news.
I know.
And poor old Phil trying to squeeze out the last bits of juice from some rotting corpse of something or other. I'm talking rubbish now, but you know what I mean. Poor old guy, he's trying to get some news every day, and there isn't any. So,
but there's not. But there's one good thing. We're expecting a big crowd up at Blackpool on Saturday.
Yeah,
apparently 1,300 plus, because fans are taking advantage of the free travel up there after the debacle, shall we say, at Peterborough. Obviously, the fans are giving the club are giving fans free coach travel there and back, which is a good gesture. So, going to be a hard game, but we'll probably come on to that a bit later on, won't we? But yeah, that should be. It'd be nice to have probably a pretty large away contingent, considering how far away it is. The only other one that was mentioned on a rumour is Connor Wickham back on loan, which obviously would be brilliant, wouldn't it? But
I did have a quick, as I was saying, I just got in from the station, from the railway. Train was late, of course, and so I quickly dived onto the back page of the Star. But there's something about Connor Wickham saying he wants to stay. And
is that? I didn't pick that up. So
that could not be, maybe not.
He'd probably be a bit like, if he came back so quickly on loan, he'd probably be a bit like, well, he want to at least give it a shot at breaking into their first team, wouldn't he, before he gets sent out on loan. But yeah, we'll see.
I was just saying, I would guess as well that if that was going to be the case, that might have been arranged as part of the transfer as well.
That was it. Yeah, because that was when Tottenham, I think the rumour was Tottenham bid last summer for him, and it was going to be something like 5 million up front, and then they were going to loan him back for the season. But then I think, I mean, I don't know if that's actually true, but that was sort of what was talked about. But you're probably right. It was would have been something built into the deal.
Sorted out at the time. I don't know.
Do you want to quickly cover England and anyone remotely interested, and then get on to Mickey?
Well, 6 points, from the 2 games. So it was a bit of a poor performance last night, especially second half. Flashes in the first half that were good, but as you say, qualification's all about winning. But we should probably speak to you, because you were our man in Sofia, weren't you, on Friday?
Your man in Sofia who went without a ticket just because he'd never been to Sofia, not really for the England game.
How did it work out for you?
It was easy to get a ticket. I just walked up on the morning of the game and just gave a ticket.
Did you use that phrase which Vulture taught you last week?
Billet.
Yeah, the Billy Elliot or something.
Billy Elliot.
Yeah.
No, there was just loads of ticket. Well, I got lost the first time and I found some little shack that I thought was going to do tickets, and I only worked out the word 2 o'clock, and I thought, well, I better come back at 2 o'clock, and then walk all the way back into the city centre, and then someone said, there's loads of ticket outlets there, the other side of the stadium. So I did then walk back and eventually just walked up to a thing and got it.
Good stuff.
Really cheap.
Were you able to sit with your mates, or were you also on your own?
No, I sat on my own. Right. Really no mates. It was in the most expensive part of the stadium. She said, what price range? Because they had the lot. And I said, well, I don't know. Where's a good seat? She said, well, this is the most expensive part. It's next to all the VIPs. And I said, well, okay. Wow. How much will that set me back? She said 19. Well, the equivalent of £19.
That's pretty damn good.
Which is ridiculous, isn't it, for an international game? And Sofia's a lovely city.
Is it? I've not been.
And the women are very nice as well, Jeremy. But we shouldn't be going there.
No, that's perhaps one for another occasion.
No, don't try this at home, children.
Yeah, and a good performance on Friday night then by England, if not quite so much last night.
Yeah, I didn't see last night's game. I saw a tad of it.
You didn't miss much.
No, I heard. Yeah, I find it. I mean, I went to Sofia, as I said, just because I've never been, and it was a jolly, really. But I find it hard to really get motivated about England until the tournaments kick in, you know. Yeah. And as for friendlies, I mean, that's weird, isn't it?
So no. But
I always remember when was it 1982? I'm sure someone will tell me I'm wrong. When I think because of the war in Serbia or someone or former Yugoslavia qualified for the Euros, and because of the war they obviously couldn't enter, so Denmark, who were the next highest, were all lounging on the beach drinking their Carlsberg or whatever, had no training, no friendlies whatsoever, came in and won it.
Right.
So that says a lot, I think. Just have your break at the end of the season and then come back refreshed. Don't keep playing games on and on and on.
Well, there is the talk, all the clubs are meeting up, aren't they, and they're talking about putting a cap on the number of international games that can be played. So about making the qualifying groups smaller and cutting friendlies out. They want to do something like 6 a year maximum outside of the actual, obviously the actual tournaments. But whether or not that happens, who knows? But yeah, friendlies do seem a bit of a waste of time, don't they?
I think so. Mickey, what do you make before we get on to Ipswich? What do you make of the England situation?
Well, it's a great result in Bulgaria.
Yeah,
I thought it was really disappointing last night.
You watched it?
Just the style of play. I mean, it's free midfield players who hardly ever got forward, and you're at home. Everyone was talking about having a plan for Gareth Bale, and I think he's a great player, but you don't have a plan for one man.
One player,
playing against a team that's ranked whatever it is,
100 and something in the world.
And England have got some good players, and it's just a shame at home, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sometimes I just think maybe the Italian mentality of just comes shining through every now and again.
Yeah.
Even when they're trying, I think it was the same with the Irish, wasn't it, in Russia? There's this, the Italians have got a certain way of doing stuff, and I think when things get a little bit nip and tuck, they revert to type and go back to what they know a little bit, which is quite cautious.
Yeah.
And, I'd much rather see England, especially at Wembley, go out and try and steamroller a few.
Yeah, especially against teams like Wales, with no disrespect to Wales, of course.
No.
To all our Welsh
we made them look pretty good in the second half.
Well, they've got some decent players.
They do.
They would love to have the pick of the English players, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Let's be fair.
Yeah.
Because they've got a few, like Ramsey's obviously going to be very, very good in years to come.
They've got some good young players there, and there's no. I'm not trying to disrespect Wales in any way, but you're playing against a team that had a bit of a struggle, had one good result, which sometimes that can turn a corner a little bit, but they've been struggling, and even though they've got some good young players, England are at home. You talk about them being ranked 4th in the world, and they've just had a great result away in Bulgaria, and you're thinking, go out and really. And it was not just not always comfortable, but I just didn't like the way we set about going about the task.
Yeah, that's it. I know it's a mockery though, us being 4th in the world. Don't you think? We haven't qualified as a nation. We haven't got past the quarterfinals for about 20 odd years in a major tournament, or about 21 years. Yet there we are in 4th in the world, and the Dutch are now number 1, aren't they? Ahead of Spain. But anyway, that's another topic.
I didn't realise that.
Yeah, because England and Holland both went up in the rankings after we had that friendly cancelled last month, despite not playing a game. But there we go. Probably enough about internationals.
Yeah, just had an email from Tim Stewart, who also went to Sofia. He said they'd only sold 15,000 at the time he went. So,
right.
And he was telling me I won't have a problem getting a ticket. Thanks for that, Tim. And did you enjoy it? Let us know. Naked Footy at icrfm.co.uk. Anyone who wants to get in touch for any reason whatsoever. So, let us know how you got on, Tim. And with the lovely ladies as well. We got an email, Steve from Sweden, our man Steve, he's been on the show before. Warm greetings, especially to Mickey Stockwell. If you feel like making it 6:08, do you know what that means? The right back place
performances, I would imagine.
I was thinking,
the body's just worn out now, so
you have to he says
there's no chance of that.
Right back place is still open, yeah.
That's a shame, because we had Fabian Wilness a few weeks ago. We were trying to coax him out of retirement. We're now going to put our pressure on you, but
I think
it's like we're picking
46 is just a little bit past my sell-by date.
So
I don't know.
How many positions did you play in the end?
I actually started every outfield position.
Really?
But we went to Leeds one and we came up with some plan to mark Gary McAllister, so I started at centre back, which was a bit of a
they obviously watched you
after 20 minutes, and they kept smacking balls up to big Brian Dean, who was about 6 foot taller than me. We soon reverted back, and I went into midfield, and Eddie Ells dropped back, but it was a good plan while it lasted.
Where were you most comfortable? What do you enjoy most?
I didn't really mind. I mean, I would say I was least comfortable at centre back, but
silly question,
midfield or right back was nothing. If you've got a decent knowledge of the game, you should be able to play most positions. Really.
Yeah. I mean, you actually played up front and scored, didn't you? Did you score in your very first game at centre forward or striker?
I can remember playing up front against Leicester, scored 2 goals, and played right back the next game. I think that was a luxury that John Lyle used to like, that he felt he could, move me into a position. He felt that he would get something, but he always knew that he could pretty much put me where he wanted at the time. Yeah. But I did score 2 goals against Wimbledon in the Premiership as a striker, which was nice at home. But no, I mean, that was just more of a short-term project. Midfield or full-back was my most effective positions.
Yeah, I remember. Was it when Chris Kiwami got injured? Wasn't it? They put you there first, if I remember.
I played. I think I had a little run when in the season, but we actually won what would be the championship now, second division as it was then, and had a little run up front. But I enjoyed it.
What was the secret then to because it's quite rare to have someone that had such a long career as you, because you eventually hung up the boots at 38, I think, weren't you, when you actually stopped?
38, yeah.
So how was it that you were kind of a model professional, the way that you trained and looked after yourself, or was it just luck that you steered clear of injury until then? Or?
Well, I didn't steer clear of injury. I had cruciate, had me ankle rebuilt, and I mean, you don't play that amount of time in professional football without having your injuries. I was a good professional. Whether I wouldn't go as far to say a model. I think I was lucky. I had the ability to run. The latter years, diet and just looking after myself was more important than training. Just managing my body, knowing when to train and when not to. I thought a lot about the game and sort of managed my career in that way, and I was lucky enough to go on and have a long career.
Yeah, and you were with obviously the club, because you came through, didn't was it 1982 when you sort of came through? So that was obviously probably under Bobby Robson.
I signed 81 in the summer just after the first team had won.
So you joined at an absolutely amazing time for the club. Yeah.
Fantastic players in and around the first team. Wasn't a big squad, but the actual 1 to 11 were fantastic players. And you have to learn, and you have to, be able to learn from these guys when you watch them train. And back then, the perk was, if you did well in the youth team, you used to go and train with the first team for a day or so.
Oh, okay.
And training with your Mariners, Tysons, Murans, Gates, Walks.
Right. Wow.
Fantastic players, Mick Mills. Fantastic.
Doesn't
team.
Get better than that.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
And probably never have a team like that again. No. But being able to just be around that at the time, and Ipswich was a very good club for bringing young players through over a period of time. Brought a lot of players through. I think it's harder to do now. Instant success is a premium. But no, it's a fantastic time to join the club.
Yeah.
How many managers did you play under in the end?
Not that many.
I suppose
I didn't play under Bobby Robson because he took the England job very soon, within a year. I made my debut under Bobby Ferguson.
Mm-hmm.
When Bobby was just left, John Duncan came in. That didn't last long.
We were talking.
Very diplomatically put.
We were talking about him, weren't we, last season? I think he had the highest win ratio of anyone after Robson, wasn't it? But he lost so many. He'd never draw. He'd win or lose, and he lost more than.
Right.
But
I was just finding that a little bit odd.
No, I know.
Now you've put it into. Categorised it.
Look it up, but yeah.
And then John Lyle came in, fantastic manager, and then George Burley.
Yeah. And who did you enjoy playing for most out of those, if you were able to kind of distinguish one?
My favourite would have been John Lyle.
Yeah.
George came in and did very well, and had a great eye for players. But John Lyle, I really respected the guy. Good manager, good guy, and great tactician at football.
And he was brought in to kind of play, because he was at West Ham before that, wasn't he, if I'm not mistaken, and we were kind of looking to play that passing, attractive football that Ipswich was known for, or had been known for so many years. So do you think he kind of really started the thing that George Burley took on, really, if you like?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, Ipswich were always renowned, and we was always brought up in a way of trying to play football, but when John came in, he actually took it on a level and made, certainly myself, think so much more about how to do it and the angles and everything else that comes into it. And it's no coincidence that John used to talk, people like Alex Ferguson and people like that would ring him up for advice. That's how big he was in the game.
And you could only see at his, I think the funeral, when it was in Ipswich, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
And the people that actually came to the town that day to pay their respects was just mind-boggling, wasn't it?
Yeah.
A who's who of kind of football in this country.
He was top class. Yeah.
What do you make of the present situation?
Well, I've only met Paul Jewell once. I've played against him a few times, and I think he's got a good track record, but he's got a tough job. I mean, he's coming in, and he's having to make a lot of signings. He's got a big job to turn it around from where it was. I mean, obviously it wasn't working last season, and I think some of the signings he's made are very good. Like the Keith Andrews one. I think that's a good loan move. I think and it shows the guy's playing international football, so he wants to get away. He wants to play football, so he's coming here wanting to play, and I think that's a good one. Jimmy Bullard is infectious, isn't he? So that's a coup. I think we need a striker, and I think we need a centre half. I mean, they've got Inga Marsson and Sonko, who they've got experience. They're defenders, out and out defenders. It's down to Paul now to try and find a way of making it gel, so that there's a blend to the team. So that sometimes it can be a bit of luck. I know in teams where someone's got injured and someone's gone in, and a couple of little twists and turns, and suddenly it's all gelled, and you can go on a run of 10, 15 games quite easily in this league. I can remember being third from bottom and making the playoffs. I think it's 20 odd games where we went unbeaten right the way through. So it can happen, and sometimes it doesn't have to be great management. It can be a bit of luck and a twist of fate.
And confidence as well in the players.
Absolutely.
As you win
once
a game,
you get one win and you get a bit of confidence, you get another win. They had a win just before the break. If they get another win afterwards, and then you get a lucky draw or something like that, and everybody starts to just swell up with confidence, and things can move on quite quickly.
I think the key is for us not to kind of get sort of cut adrift, find ourselves down the bottom. We have got a tough run of games coming up, and we got West Ham away, Middlesbrough away, Blackpool away, and then we do have Coventry at home, which is not, it's no such thing as an easy game, but Coventry at home this season, you would kind of hope we'd get 3 points there, but
sometimes you just get into the feeling that it doesn't matter who you play, you're going to go and win. I mean, that's the ideal scenario.
That's a feeling that I had as a fan watching the George Burley side. I don't know, obviously, how it felt for you as a player. I thought at Portman Road, it didn't matter.
Especially at Portman Road, there was periods in my career where you just didn't even look at the opposition or whatever. You just felt that you was going to go out there and win. I mean, that's just a mental stuff. But sometimes having a defeat like Ipswich had at Peterborough can make you've got to go and sort things out. There's got to be some honest speaking in the dressing room. There might be some harsh words said, but you've got to sort things out, because that can't carry on. As a player, you don't want that to happen. As a manager, you certainly don't want that to happen. So, from those sort of ashes, sometimes, you can get something to come good from it.
Yeah. What was your favourite game that you ever played for Ipswich? Or you probably got more than one.
Yeah, it's difficult to pick out one. There was some really nice moments. I mean, even though we lost, I really enjoyed the game. I think it was a 5th round replay in the FA Cup at Liverpool, and we lost in extra time.
Was that the Mulby free kick?
Was that when did Gavin Johnson score that looping header?
Yeah, that's right.
I think I remember that.
We played really, really well up there on the night, and that was against a good Liverpool side. And that was a thrilling game, and just the result was the wrong result. But
and Mulby moved the free kick about 100 yards forward.
I was never a free kick either. It was given against me. I was never a free kick.
Oh, was it you?
Yeah, but it
wasn't a free kick, and he took it from completely the wrong
place. Yeah, it was absolutely. But that, by the by, it was a fantastic game. But it was nice when I scored a couple of goals in them games, and I had a testimonial here against Port. So, I mean, I was very privileged to have a lot of highlights.
Yeah. What was your favourite ground to play at? Other than Portman Road, of course.
Man United's always a big ground to go and play. Liverpool's fantastic, just the tradition and everything else that goes around it. So, but any ground that we won at was a favourite. Least favourite was probably Plymouth, because you knew it was going to take a long time to get over. But there you go.
Especially once you've lost,
Yeah, absolutely. So,
Colossus, you haven't spoken.
I'm in awe.
He's in awe.
Mr. Stockwell.
You can't believe a man with the name Colossus can be in awe. Do you want to look at the Blackpool thing coming up? See what you want to think of that?
Well,
it's a hard one, isn't it?
It is. I would hope, given the Leeds result, a bit of confidence maybe, although performance wasn't great, was it, in the first half? But hopefully confidence is up. Perhaps we can go up there and get a result of some sort. I'm not
I'd take
hugely confident. I'd take a draw, I think. Yeah. I can see a few goals going in, to be honest.
Well, is Ingemarson going to be fit?
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? The latest I read is he is in with a chance, I think, although he's by no means definitely going to be fit. But I just hope with him we haven't signed someone that's going to be a permanent sort of injury concern, because he's had that thigh problem he picked up in pre-season, and it's kind of bugged him. He's played the one match, didn't he?
I don't know the guy really, but he looked to me when he was playing, he might be an organiser, and I think having watched some of the goals against Southampton were on telly, and watching the game against Peterborough on telly, that they certainly need somebody who can just point a few fingers and organise in the back four.
Because that's what we've sort of had. We had DeVos who did that, and then a Macaulay that we let go last summer was that kind of figure, and we haven't replaced
it. It helps if you have a few in there who can do it, but certainly if you haven't got any, one's a must.
Yeah.
Although poor old Gareth had a bit of a nightmare, didn't he?
Last night. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but it was for Northern Ireland away at Estonia. I think it was 2-1 to Estonia, and then I forget whether the keeper saved it or hit the bar or something.
No, he hit the post.
Hit the post. Came back to him, and unfortunately he could have just,
I did see it,
as a fan you're thinking Rose Ed, put it out, corner, throw in, whatever, just get rid of it. Dilly-dallied, and then the Estonian player nipped it off him and slotted it in. So, and that kind of killed the game, then made it 3-1, didn't it?
That was his second nightmare. The first one he should have cleared as well, shouldn't he? So,
I haven't seen all the goals.
That's the only one I saw.
But I think that's a symptom as well. I mean, Gareth's gone to West Brom, which is a fair enough move. You want a chance to play the Premiership and everything else, but he hasn't played.
That's it.
So it's very difficult to go into an international game. you haven't played. You might have played some reserve team football, but it's not preparation for what you need. So.
That's it, because he's one of their sort of key players over the last few years. So yeah, like we said that earlier on, that just it can't be ideal, and then just going.
Well, that's why I think the signing of Keith Andrews is a good one, because shown that the guy wants to get out, he wants to play. He's in the era side at the moment, and he's enthusiastic to get out on the pitch and play. So that's a good sign.
Yeah, and I think that's a loan with a view to sign him.
I think that's right. Yeah, because it's officially loaned till January, but I think reading between the lines, they're looking to get rid of him. Really, Blackburn. So if it goes well, then fingers crossed that would be one that we could tie up.
Well, he's certainly made a good start, hasn't he?
Yeah. Well, yeah, three goals in 3 games, isn't it? And all of them long ranges, albeit slightly deflected. One of them, two of them actually, but yeah, with him and Bullard
still count though, don't they?
Exactly, yeah. Well, they all count. Yeah.
Well, Mickey, what are you up to? Last couple of minutes, what are you actually up to at the moment? In your
I've got a kitchen fitting bathroom company, basically.
Yeah.
Fit and supply and fit kitchens and bathrooms. So
going well.
It's picking up. It's been tough, but I'm sure I'm not the only person who said that this year. It's not been a great year, but things are starting to pick up and it's looking much better.
Are you still doing radio work and stuff as well?
No, I haven't got any links at the moment at all with football. So
because you worked at SGR, didn't you, a couple of seasons back when as the summariser?
That's right.
And then is that something you kind of interested in getting back involved with? Or?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Must admit, it was great fun. I know that the audiences we had were excellent at the time, and it seemed to be well received.
No, it was good. I enjoyed it. I always tuned in for the away games every time when I couldn't go. So no, it was good.
Yeah, so that's always a possibility in the future.
And then how about sort of, because you've done your coaching badges as well, haven't you? Is that something, because you had a stint at Woodbridge, didn't you?
Yes, I did. That was an enjoyable time. I put a lot of hard work into it, and I just think local football is very hard at the moment. There's very little money around, and it's just tough work. So at the moment, I'm enjoying my Sunday golf.
You are right, yeah. Don't blame you at all. Yeah.
What's your handicap? My handicap is golf, but
9 at the moment.
9, that's not bad.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you still get any football in at all, like little local tournaments and guest appearances?
You played Masters, haven't you?
I did.
Yeah.
When I first finished playing, Masters was great because I was the fittest one on there. But now it would be a bit ropey, I got to say. No, the knees and the ankles and that, they just football's out now. Yeah, I'm afraid so.
Right, 1 minute. Do you want to quickly have a prediction for Saturday?
Yeah, tough game, big following as we mentioned before. I'm going to go for a 1-1. I think for Saturday.
I'm thinking a draw, 2-2. I think there'll be goals.
Yeah, can see that.
2-0 Ipswich. You've
got
to be positive.
Yeah, I used to always predict a win, but I've had my fingers burnt so many times.
So that's the thing. Is I damn predict a win. But at the moment, I can't bring myself to predict a defeat either. I just can't do it. So it's got to go for a point.
We'll put money on a defeat, and then if you win, you're happy, and if you lose, you're happy. You can't lose that way. Anyway, I think we've got to go now. Thanks, of course, Jeremy. Thanks to the Colossus, and very, very big thanks to our legend, I think, in the shape of Mr. Mickey Stockwell. Cheers, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.